So what is up, guys? Welcome back to Late Night Shots, episode 21. Today we're joined here by the number one ranked 157-pounder in the nation, Ryan Deacon from Northwestern.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Ryan, welcome to the show. Welcome to Late Night Shots. As always, we happy to have all of our guests on. And as you heard, everybody, I think I was gunning to say national champ. I was ready. I was ready. Virtual national champ. I'm gonna just say it now. Welcome to the show. Let's just hop right into it. Oh, before we get started, guys, Akil, you want to tell them? You want to break the news?
I figured it out. We're on Apple Podcasts now, so
we're finally on Apple Podcasts. Now we're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and you can find both of those in the link tree anywhere. Just, I'm sure it'll be linked in the bottom of this video. Go check it out.
We have an Android we're on Google Podcast also.
Oh, yeah, we're on Google Podcasts too. Look at that. Oh, we're also on Anchor. That's also, I don't know who uses that.
Yeah, I'll description. That's fine.
So, Ryan, I guess we'll just start off with just a couple quick questions. So, how's your quarantine been going?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been interesting, a little different, change up, but it's been fun. Been able to get in some wrestling rooms, so that's been cool, and getting some weight rooms and stuff. So it's been nice to not be, completely isolated with everything, but it's been definitely different schedule.
Definitely. I think that's just pretty much for everybody. Everyone's lives has definitely changed a lot. I mean, as this kind of is basically closing out to an end, hopefully here, it was just something you kind of struck everybody by surprise and kind of took everything out with it. So that's good, though. It's good to stay. Like I've been saying this, and through all the videos, that when this next season starts, you'll really see who kind of took advantage of the quarantine and still worked out and still pushed themselves, and you'll kind of see who didn't, and that's when people are going to pull away from the pack for those weight classes that are you got 6 or 8 guys that are all fighting for that 1, 2, 3 spot. So, I mean, it's going to be cool to see this next season, hopefully, play how it plays out.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's been weird too, you go into a college room for a couple of years and you're never struggling to find partners, and during this time it's been cool. I've gotten to see a lot of different guys. It's been weird. There's been a lot of lighter weight guys that have been in Colorado. So I wrestled with Cade Brock a couple of times. I wrestled with Luke Pletcher just last Saturday, and then some MMA guys and some guys that wrestled in college and stuff that are just training now, fighting. So it's been fun, but it's been interesting just kind of who's been around.
Yeah, that's definitely super cool. I know we've heard that from a bunch of guys, just who's coming through their cities they live in, who's traveling through and everything. And I mean, I think that's just crazy to see how the wrestling community kind of all comes together in a time like this, where everybody's looking for somebody to wrestle.
Yeah, no, it's been cool. It really is. It's such a tight knit, small community, but it's cool.
That's as you heard in the beginning of the video, guys, what an amazing college, season you had last year. So let's just talk about what kind of built up to that. So let's just start off with your high school. Actually, we'll start off with when did you start wrestling?
Started wrestling when I was 6 or 7 years old. I think I had a little bit too much energy. I played a lot of sports, but my dad just kind of saw, I think, an ad in the newspaper and was like, "Do you want to try wrestling?" And I didn't know any better. So I started in late December, early January. And I just remember that because I was so young and I missed the singlet order form for our team. So I had to go to Dick's, and the only singlet they had that fit me was a red singlet, and our team was blue. So I was the only kid on our team with the red singlet when we were competing. But yeah, that's kind of how I started, and then just kind of fell in love with it and kept wrestling throughout the years.
So we always like to ask, were you somebody that was kind of watched in the younger age and was a prospect, somebody who they thought was going to just be an incredible wrestler the rest of their life?
I don't know. I mean, I think I definitely had some success when I was young, but I wasn't I wasn't winning Tulsa or whatever, the big stuff when I was little. I think I definitely I was around a lot of really good wrestlers, and I think that's what helped me a lot. I saw stuff like that, and it was cool to, be friends with those kids. But as far as myself growing up, I think I had success, but I wasn't anything off the charts.
Yeah. I mean, we've been hearing that from a lot of, from everybody who, you see these guys that are now big time Division I wrestlers, and they're like, well, I was all right as a kid. I was okay. I mean, and you definitely see, like, when everyone starts wrestling when they're 5, 6, 7 years old, you could see how that kind of progresses into building you into just an absolute athlete in the sport. So I think pretty much everybody that we've had on has all pretty much said the same thing you did, that they were all in that 4, 5, 6 range. I mean, that kind of shows that, the longer you do it, the better you get.
Yeah, no, I definitely think the more time you put into it, it's definitely pays out dividends. So I don't know. I think some kids too, though, there's a lot of good kids that growing up that you see that were like really good when they were little, and they kind of burn out a little bit. So I think I was lucky. My parents were, I think, smart about it. And then I had some good coaches too, where I was always having fun with it. I was wrestling because I wanted to wrestle, not because my dad was yelling at me to wrestle,
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this in, plenty of videos, how elementary wrestling can either make or break kids' wrestling careers. Like you basically said, a lot of parents push their kids to the limit. They're practicing 6 days a week with the tournament and a dual meet. It's kind of to that point where once they hit high school, they're just done.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely.
It's almost like at that point where your parents, like where you have a choice to be like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. You could kind of like speak your voice, I guess you could say. And then they burn out. Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, working elementary tournaments, just being on the varsity team, we work a couple tournaments, a couple matches, and you see those parents, the parents that, they get that tight neck grab on the back of the kid's neck, and they're like yelling at them, and they're like, you could have had it. You ruined it. You ruined your chance. And I'm sitting there like, the kid's like 7 years old and lost because they spun in a circle too fast and he tripped. And you're worried about how he ruined his chance.
Yeah. No, it's not that serious. When you're that little, I think it's just about making the kid enjoy it. And also, I think some crazy wrestling dads, you'll see some like 50-pound kid cutting 2 pounds to make weight. I'm like, dude, that is not the right way to go in my mind. I don't know. I think that's like a fine line. And I don't know. I'm sure you guys don't really have to cut weight, but it's – it's definitely part of the sport, but I don't think at a young age it needs to be. Once you're older, maybe high school, college can start messing with that. But I don't know. Little kids, when they start cutting weight, and that's a big percentage of your body weight. If you're cutting a pound when you're 50 pounds, so I don't know.
Yeah, I wish I didn't have to cut weight. I'm definitely one of those heavyweights that, enjoys his food during football season and then is like, oh, well, time to wrestle. That's just how it is. That's just how it's always been for me.
Hey, that's
so I guess let's just hop right into it. Let's just talk about, like, were you like, so as you improved, like you're 7, how is it hold on. How is it where you're from? Is it like 7th and 8th grade is on varsity? Is it 8th grade on varsity? Or is it just 9th through 12?
9 through 12. So in Colorado, there's 5 divisions, but it's really 4 divisions. So we have 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A. And so our high school was 5A, which is the bigger schools. So the biggest division. But yeah, in middle school, you couldn't wrestle for your high school. But then, yeah, it's not like like a South Dakota where you could wrestle in 7th and 8th grade. It was, you had to be in high school to wrestle the high school season.
So, how did you do, like, your 2 years on junior high? I guess you'd say 7th and 8th grade. Was that, like, outstanding for you? Were you, like, somebody that kind of was watched out for at tournaments?
Yeah, I had, success, especially locally. I was winning middle school state and stuff like that. And then I had some coaches that were taking me and our club, like, just around the country, wrestling some national tournaments and stuff. So that was always fun. I think I always did pretty well. I wasn't, again, not like winning all these huge tournaments, but I was always doing well. I was always in the hunt. But yeah, in middle school, I won a couple middle school state titles, whatever that means. So yeah.
So let's just talk a little bit about, how did your freshman season go for you? If you could just talk us, through that a little bit.
Yeah, freshman year was awesome. I think So one of my best friends and I were the only two on varsity as freshmen. And
Same.
so I had a lot of fun with that. I ended up taking third that year at state.
What
So
weight was that?
106.
Okay.
So I took third at 106, and it was a fun year, transitioning in. And I don't know, realistically, I lost to the kid that ended up being a two-time state champ as a sophomore that year. So it was good. I lost to him in maybe the quarters or something like that. I don't remember. But freshman year was good. And then the next year, the sophomore year, I was, kept wrestling. I went up a weight to 113. And I ended up winning state that year. So that was cool. I went undefeated, which was cool, but we didn't really travel out of state much. Then junior year, I went up to 126, and I took second at state. That year was kind of a bummer. I wrestled a kid that I had wrestled earlier in the year and beat, and then just kind of I was up, and then going into the third, gave up a couple takedowns to go in overtime and lost in overtime. So that was kind of like, I don't know, like a defining high school moment, I guess, for me.
So, sorry to cut you off, but I just wanted to just stop and talk a little bit about. So, obviously, as a freshman, placing third in the state is obviously incredible for a freshman. Especially, I do definitely see a lot more freshmen dominate that 106 weight class, until they kind of grow up a little bit, grow into their bodies a little bit more, which, I mean, you basically did that throughout your whole high school career, kind of just getting a little bit bigger every year. So in that in that year, from that third place finish as a freshman to that first place finish as a sophomore, do you remember doing anything specific in like that summer or like that preseason?
I think just staying the course, just I continue to wrestle and try to improve my positions. I had some good training partners. I had an awesome coach that was just out of college that was wrestling with me a lot. And then, I went to Fargo every summer. I started going to Fargo in ninth grade. That summer was the first year I went. So I think that was always fun, seeing that competition and wrestling all summer, training for something all summer was a big deal. So yeah, I always loved going to Fargo, and I didn't really know anything about Greco, and I just kind of walked into freestyle and Greco and was like, I'm already out here. I might as well do both. So I think that kept you training all summer, and it was something to look forward to.
All right, so how about that jump from 106 to 120? Did that really affect your wrestling style much, or you were still just as?
So I went to 113. I was 106, 113. Yeah. I don't think so. I wrestled every summer. I'd go up a weight class at Fargo after the season, and I was growing. I mean, I probably the summer my freshman year, I was 5'0", 100 pounds, and then I finished high school at 138. 5'8", 5'9", and now I'm a lot bigger than that, obviously, and 5'10" or whatever. So I grew a lot. And so I was always just kind of growing and continuing to work out and, lift weights and stuff. So I didn't really feel like it affected my wrestling. It was, my body was bigger and I needed to go up a weight class. There was no way I was making the weights below it.
Yeah. So you weren't like a guy that was really sucking weight.
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, my freshman year was awesome. I think I'd weigh like 108 at night, and I'd, wake up in the morning and be right on weight at 106. And then once Christmas came or whatever, I was perfect every time. Sophomore year, I probably cut a pound or two, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And then junior year, I cut a little bit of weight. And then by my senior year, I was cutting maybe 2-3 pounds. So it was different, in high school, you got to learn. And I definitely was cutting weight wrong when I was younger. Like just in high school versus like college, there's much better ways to do it. And it was, I don't know, you just got to kind of learn by doing it and figuring out your body.
Yeah. I think the craziest weight cut I've accomplished was 17 pounds in 2.5 days.
Dang, that's a lot.
Yeah, that was risky, really, really risky. And I ended up getting destroyed at the tournament. Got just absolutely clobbered because I was so drained.
Yeah.
I was dying.
No, that definitely, yeah. You get a bad weight cut, you got to make sure you keep that in check because it'll definitely.
And I ended up stepping on the scale like 2 pounds under, so I mean, it was all right. So I mean, after a great freshman year, great sophomore year, and a decent junior season, third, first, and second at 3 different weight classes, what was kind of going through your mind senior year? And when you were a junior, did you have any like kind of college recruiting at all, or?
Yeah. I had All-American at Fargo a couple times in the summers and stuff. Was definitely like my senior year was going to be fun. I was already kind of figuring stuff out at the beginning of the year. I don't know if they changed the recruiting rules, but you weren't allowed to take any official visits until right when the season started. I think like that September or whatever. Around there was when you could start taking, like July 1st, coach could start contacting you your junior year going into your senior year.
Yeah.
So that summer I like went on a couple unofficials and then just started taking my officials right before our season started. And it was fun, but also like, I was trying to train for Super 32 preseason nationals, those kind of tournaments, and, going away every week for a couple days at a time. It was kind of, it was tough to balance both, but I had some fun. And then I visited University of Virginia. I decided I was going to go to University of Virginia, Virginia Tech, Northwestern, Stanford, and Cornell for my 5 officials. And then I went to UVA, and then I went to Northwestern, and then I knew I wanted to go to Northwestern. I just kind of canceled all the rest of my visits.
So, I mean, you came out junior year with second. So what was going through your mind your senior year at the state tournament?
I was just having fun with it. I mean, it was kind of just enjoying the last time I got to do it. I got to go to Ironman that year, so that was a lot of fun. And we'd been trying to get me be able to wrestle out there for a couple of years, and finally they let me go because the way it works in Colorado, there's so many points per tournament or duel or whatever for your team that you get in a year. So it had to match up with what my team was doing because they were going to another tournament. I just went out with my dad and one of my coaches to Ironman. So I think I just had a lot of fun, and I made my college decision and committed before season started. So it was just kind of enjoying that last year.
Yeah, so I definitely, when I'm talking to some of the guys we've talked to so far, it kind of almost sounds like that kind of takes a burden off your shoulders that you really don't have to prove anything. Obviously you're still going out there to win a state title, but, if a slip up happens, you lose a hard fought match, you're kind of not beating yourself up as bad as if you were still trying to fight to get recruited.
Yeah, I don't think I felt, much pressure at all that senior year. I already knew where I was going. I was kind of looking forward to college and just having fun, the rest of the year. And I don't know, my state tournament I think I was just loose the whole time. It was fun, and it was kind of like, all right, this is the last time I'm going to be here. You might as well kind of take it in a little bit.
Yeah. So let's just talk a little bit about how that state tournament went for you.
Yeah, I won state my senior year. I think I was undefeated on the year in Colorado, but I think 2 losses at Ironman. So it was nice to be able to kind of go out of state because, you're looking at, all right, next year I'm not just wrestling guys from one state. I'm wrestling everybody that, the best guys in every state that are in college or at a college, you're wrestling nationally every weekend. Some really tough guys, and I knew I was going to the Big Ten. So I think it was fun. And it was a great tournament, but then I was like, all right, looking forward to Fargo and then trying to get out to Northwestern to start training before my freshman year.
So how did that Fargo go for you your senior year?
I won Greco, and then I don't know, maybe took 5th in freestyle, something like that. I don't know. It was fun. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Fargo, but it's a long week of cut and weight, but it's also a lot of fun. So it was, yeah.
It sucks because this is my first year and I registered for Fargo and had the paper submitted and everything. Then they canceled it.
Dang, yeah.
I was really disappointed. I was like, man, I had all this filled out, ready to go, and then they canceled. I was like, well, never mind, no Fargo.
No, it's a good time.
I see on here career record of 177-14. You know, one of the better high school records you could have. Obviously, an incredible record. You know, and I also see here that you were, you know, pretty darn smart with a 4.0 GPA leaving high school.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I knew that one day wrestling was going to come to an end, you know. So I was trying to put the work in the classroom too, and get to a good academic school as well as wrestling, because you never know what's going to happen. You know, since I've been at Northwestern, I've had 3 or 4 teammates that have had to medically retire. So it's like, it's sad to see that happen, and obviously want to wrestle as long as I can. But you know, if one day I go and break my neck or something, it's like it's not going to be something I can do for the rest of my life.
Yeah. So what did you decide to study at Northwestern?
I'm an econ major right now. I have my last final is actually due at the end of this week. And then I'm graduating in a week after that. So I'll have an econ major, minor in BIP, it's Business Institutes program. And then I'm doing a 1-year master's next year for my 5th year.
Awesome. So what are you kind of looking forward to after graduation, other than that 5th year, you know, that I'm sure you're happy about, you know, being able to wrestle one more year with that at Northwestern, and, you know, kind of had some unfinished business obviously this season.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, no, I feel like it was tough definitely getting the season canceled. You know, we're right there. 95% of the season's done. There's one tournament left and it's canceled. So I'm just super excited to have one more year. You know, I know a lot of guys that, you know, were number 1 seeds and graduated as a senior. And that's like, you know, that's awful. You hate to see it, but nothing you can do about it. I'm really excited to get back to Chicago and get back with my teammates. It's, you know, we always have a great time in spring and summer, and it's been weird not being around them for so long after being with them for the last 4 years. So I think COVID will kind of give everybody a new appreciation for everything going on, and I'm definitely looking forward to getting back to school.
yeah. So just to talk a little bit about Northwestern and kind of your whole collegiate career, I'm going to pass it over to Akil, and he's going to just, you know, kind of talk you through that a little bit and ask you some questions.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, so you come to Northwestern, you redshirt, right? Your freshman season.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you still wrestle at these open tournaments such as the Midlands. Like, how'd you do in these?
Yeah. So my first match ever as a true freshman, we were at the Eastern Michigan Open, and I was wrestling Steve Belize. I don't know if that's how you say his last name, but he ended up transferring to Minnesota. But yeah, I wrestled him, and I ended up beating him right at the end on a takedown. And then like my coach is telling me, like texting me, like, good job, that dude was ranked 14th in the country. So that was kind of cool. But then I go on and like, I think I ended up being 1 round away from placing at that tournament. So that was my like first college tournament. But then I was having more success as the year went on. I ended up taking 3rd at Midlands. Our coach was really, they've been awesome. They sent me and my roommate Sebastian, we went down to Dave Schultz and wrestled that. So got a little bit of like senior freestyle experience right there in the beginning. So that was a lot of fun. And then, you know, went right into freestyle season after everything was done, and got to wrestle the US Open and, you know, stuff like that in Vegas.
Yeah, you know, you came onto the scene as a 149-pounder. People really only know you because of the season you had, the off season you had after your sophomore season, really. That's when, like, people became like, oh, this guy can win a national title now. Like, after they see what you did at the US Open and Final X and all that. But then, you know, your college career at the beginning was like a complete roller coaster, kind of. You wrestled some of the best college wrestlers, like, of all time, Zane Rutherford, Jason Nolf. I don't remember which tournament you wrestled Zane Rutherford in, but what was that?
Yeah, I wrestled my true freshman year at Penn, University of Penn, Keystone Classic.
Yeah.
We only went there 1 year, so I wrestled him in the finals there. Yeah, that was the first time I saw him. You know, my true freshman year, after coming off, like, I had a pretty good redshirt year, and then we wrestled juniors at Vegas. So then I made a junior world team and got to wrestle all summer, and got to wrestle in Finland. So that was really cool. It was the first time I saw like international competition. And that was really cool to be a part of. We actually won it as a team. And I took second at Junior Worlds. And then I wrestled 149 for my true freshman year, or not my true freshman, my redshirt freshman year in college. And had some good guys in the weight class. Got to wrestle with like, Brandon Sorensen, Rutherford, guys like that. So that was a lot of fun. That NCAA tournament was a little weird. So right away, Brandon Sorensen was the number 2 seed, and he got upset first match. And so I won my first match, and then I wrestled Jason Surtsis, who was actually one of my teammates, right as I was coming in, and then he ended up transferring to ASU that same year. So I'd wrestled with him in the summer a little bit, kind of knew him. I wrestled him at Midlands that year too. And then I ended up losing to him in a close one. And then I had one match, and then I had Sorensen on the backside. So it's kind of crazy how that whole tournament played out. But then it was kind of, getting ready for the next year and using that.
Is that the one where Zane had Ronnie Perry in the finals?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. The 15 seed make the finals like that.
Yeah. That dude had a heck of a tournament. He upset the number 2 seed first round. So.
It happens.
Yeah.
Then coming into your sophomore year, you're up there. You're ranked. It goes it goes a bunch of different ways really. You get up to all the way up to the number 2 spot, and then you have that match with Tyler Berger. Just like go over that a little bit if you want.
Yeah, no, I wish I got to wrestle him again. I wrestled him that summer before in freestyle at U23s. And so we wrestled once before that, and then I lost to him in a duel against Nebraska. And so I definitely wanted to see him again, but I never ended up running into him. But yeah, it was kind of a close match the whole time. He kind of knew, I think, what I was doing. He was kind of keying off of my shots and stuff. He did a great job, did his homework. Last time I wrestled him, I was in freestyle. It was completely different, but I was able to get to my takedowns, and I ended up teching him. So it was an interesting match in folk style, just the change up between all that. But he wrestled a great match. They had a great game plan, and right at the end, I think he took me down and I lost. But that was I don't know. I think it was one of those matches that was like kind of midway through the season, so it was a good refocusing match.
So I think you've obviously seen the tweet, by Tyler Berger.
What tweet?
He's like, I'm logging off of social media for a little bit, and I plan on taking 5 heads home with me, and that includes Jason Nolf.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't follow that stuff too much. I think that's funny. That was a couple years ago, but yeah, I don't know. Nolf brought it, and beat him at that tournament. So that was it was. I wish I got another shot at Berger, but that was an interesting year. But yeah, I didn't really. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that was all that was going around on Flow at that time. So and then he comes out after a semifinal match, like, because I don't think they interviewed him after, right? And then they go over the tweet. He's like, "Oh no, I was just doing that to provoke people, just play the mental game with them." Just
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think, like, especially during that tournament, not really on social media much. You're running around so much.
A couple weeks before, so.
Yeah, but like you're talking about the interview he did or whatever.
Yeah, it was like one of the during the tournament interviews.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I ever saw that, but like during the tournament, everything's crazy. It's a 3-day. You're cutting weight. You're wrestling. You got a lot of downtime, but you're also like, I don't know. You're busy. You're hanging out with your teammates, your coaches, it's weird because you like warm up for one match and then you don't have a match for another 3 or 4 hours. And then after that, you're cutting weight pretty late. And then the next morning you wake up, you weigh in, you got a couple hours, and then you're doing it again. So I think when the stuff's going on, you don't really see much stuff on social media. At least I don't. more on my phone if I'm listening to music or something. But yeah, I think it was an interesting tournament for sure.
Yeah, so you came to national tournament yourself. Just like how'd that go, just overall?
It was good. Didn't finish it the way I wanted to. I actually ended up losing to Iowa, Caleb Young.
Caleb Young.
Yeah, I lost him in overtime in the quarters,
Mm-hmm.
and then I won a couple matches. Won my blood round match, and then I wrestled him again for 5th and 6th, and it the same exact match happened. We went in overtime again, so that was frustrating. Was looking forward to wrestling him this year, and then he ended up losing in Big Tens, so I never got to see him. What's up?
The season was just all over the place, honestly.
Yeah.
So the biggest story of that tournament at your weight class is going to be that semifinal match with Hayden Hidley and Jason Nolf. And that's ultimately and he placed, I think, just 2 spots ahead of you, and that's what gave him the number 1 ranking heading into the season.
Yeah, I thought that was crazy. I think that was the big controversy match where they didn't know if it was 2 or not. Yeah. That was, I don't know. I wasn't really watching that. I was getting ready for my stuff, but that was definitely interesting. And, he came back with that number 1 seed. So it was good to see him early on this year. And I think I've wrestled him a couple times. I wrestled him actually 3 times at U23s in Akron one year. And then I wrestled him at NCAAs last year. And then at Cliff Keen this year, I wrestled him. So seen him a couple times.
So, that's your sophomore season. Didn't end up the way you really wanted to. You came in to the postseason ranked 3rd in the country. You ended up placing 6th. Still a solid performance. You're an All-American now, But now going into your off season, which was like the defining part of your career to this point, you come into the U.S. Open, I think, right? And then you see James Green as the 1 seed. You make your way to the finals. And then I think you're down by 1 with like 10 seconds left, and you get that push out, and just like bully him out of bounds, kind of. And then you get a huge upset, which like people were like, oh, Green's gonna attack him pretty easily.
Yeah. The U.S. Open was a lot of fun. Always like going there. That was a fun tournament because I was wrestling. I think I wrestled 5 or 6, maybe 7 matches within those 2 days. And so I was, I wrestled, I think, Mays, and then I wrestled Chamberlain, and then I had to wrestle Pentelio, and then I had Green in the finals too. So it was a lot of fun. Those freestyle brackets are always fun because there's so much talent in them, and it's a lot of fun to just get to wrestle all these different guys, all these different styles. And it's funny because you're wrestling guys that you like kind of grew up watching, and now you're like competing with them. So that was really cool. But yeah, it was a good tournament, and it was fun to watch. We had two guys on my team, Lucas Davison and Yaya Thomas, both actually won juniors, and so they both got on the junior world team from that tournament too. So that was a lot of fun. And then Joe Rao, training at our RTC, he won Greco at the U.S. Open, and then Cody Brewer, who was our coach at the time, won also the U.S. Open. So that was a fun weekend, just for the whole team. It was really cool just to, everybody was having a heck of a tournament.
Yes, you beat Alec Pentelio in the semis of that tournament, and that's a guy who plays higher than you in nationals. So must have been like a huge confidence booster right there, going into probably one of the biggest matches of your career.
Yeah, I mean, he was always fun to wrestle. We wrestled a lot. I think I wrestled him at the U.S. Open the year before, and then I also wrestled him at World Team Trials the year before. Then I wrestled him maybe twice during the NCAA season. So just seeing him a lot, and he's got a different style. He's shorter and stocky, and just those explosive doubles and stuff like that. So it's always fun wrestling with him, and it was a good match to a good warm up, before the finals.
Yeah, and then the next tournament you get the bye into Final X, which because you won the U.S. Open, I think, because you knocked off James Green there, and then Green pretty much wrestles his way into the finals pretty handily. beats Ashnall and I think Pentalio also to get there. And then, that first match didn't go the way you wanted it to. If you locked up that leg lace, it's deadly, I don't think anybody's really stopping that. But then the second match, it's a really competitive match. You end up dropping that, I think, 4-3.
Yeah. Yeah, Final X was fun. It was a good event. It was cool to be a part of that. It was kind of weird, all the theatrics with it and, press conferences before and just like they're trying to make it a big event. It was cool. There's kind of promoting wrestling through that. And yeah, the first match, I made a mistake. I was fighting, trying to get out of a takedown and ended up leaving my leg back and he locked up a lace pretty tight. So that was disappointing. I liked my chances if I was able to keep wrestling and stuff. But so that first match didn't go the way I wanted to, and had a tight one on the second match. And he's a great wrestler, so it's fun scrapping with him. Wish I could have got back that first position a little bit in that first match, but what are you gonna do? And then had a good summer, getting on the national team with that, and just going to training camps at the OTC and seeing a lot of guys. And then going to wrestle. I wrestled in Belarus at the Medved that summer too. So that was a lot of fun. Always interesting to see those international styles and just some new guys. They just all wrestle way different than U.S. guys.
So you qualify for the trials, right?
For the U.S. or the Olympic trials? Not yet. So we had U.S. Open was in December, but we were wrestling at Midlands during around the same time. So I didn't go to that. Another qualification process would be taking first at nationals. Nationals didn't happen this year. And then there's also a last chance qualifier. So I'm not sure what's going to happen going into next year. And I think they're still figuring all that stuff out. But I don't know if they're going to wrestle another US Open or if there's just the 2 spots left for the last chance qualifier and the NCAA champ.
So, if you do qualify, what weight do you see yourself going, 65 or 74?
I'm going 74. There's no way I'm making 65. That's long gone. I haven't touched that low since high school.
Yeah, because you see these 57-pounders going all different directions with that. But then you're you're bigger than half the 65s out there,
Yeah, I think I got the body frame to go up. Still not sure what weight I'm going to go next year. So we'll see what ends up happening. But definitely 74.
Have you ever wrestled guys like Isaiah Martinez, Kyle Dake, and Jordan Burroughs?
At training camps, yeah. Isaiah came into a couple of times just to wrestle, because they're pretty close. They're about 3 hours from us. So he came in a couple of times. We wrestled. I wrestled Burroughs and Dake and Isaiah also at the Olympic Training Center a couple of times last summer. But nothing too crazy, just a couple practices with them, yeah.
Okay, yeah, so it's interesting, So you come into your senior season, you're ranked 3rd in the country behind Hidley and Caleb Young. Caleb Young's season he just wasn't he's had an off year, probably makes a comeback next year, but you versus Hidley is the match everybody's waiting for at the CKLV finals. You get the 2 seed. But more importantly, you have to run the gauntlet of Ja'Cory Teamer from ASU. You have David Carr, and then you get to Hayden Hidley. And that first match against Ja'Cory Teamer, you find yourself down pretty early, Just walk me through that match a little bit.
Yeah, it was a good tournament. It was a lot of fun. Vegas, always Cliff Keen. We've only gone there twice, but enjoyed those tournaments. I think in that quarters match, I think that was, I gave up some takedowns in the beginning where I wasn't moving my feet right and just kind of not being secure on my finishes. And so I think cleaning that up and just, staying calm and you just continuing to wrestle through positions and looking to get to my points, because it's a 7-minute match. It's a long match and not getting down about a couple points. So it was just fighting back there and just having fun with that. That whole tournament was awesome. Seeing a lot of good guys in a row. It's always a good test, especially that early in the season.
Then after that match, you have David Carr from Iowa State, who's who's the freshman talk again, along with Ja'Cory Teamer. And then basically what they were talking about on Flow before that is like, are these freshmen like the real deal, or are they just like all gas coming into this? And then wrestling one of the top guys in the country, you at that point, that'd be like the biggest test for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's like all the hype behind stuff like that. I just don't really get into it. I'm just going out there wrestling my match, and it was a lot of fun. Stuck to my offense and tried to keep getting in my positions, and had some good results with that. So I think, I don't know. I think just continuing to wrestle my way and just trying to focus on my stuff instead of getting involved with all that spectator stuff.
Are you big into watching film, or you just wrestle?
I'll watch film of myself. Every week we'll, after matches and stuff, go over film with coaches and just kind of look at stuff that I can tweak. I'm not really watching too much film of other guys. I'm more so just looking at myself over the season and looking at what I need to improve and what I can do to do better. I'll definitely break down my stuff and try to work on that.
Yeah. You talked with other guys like Don Bradley and Trent Hoger, and basically what they would say is like, we literally went into depth. It's like if the guy steps with this foot, with this sort of tie, blast doubles right there, something like that. And they just like go, like they want to know what they're going to do like before the match. What the guys
That might just be a heavyweight thing, to be completely honest, though. That, you're kind of just – there's only so many ways you could wrestle a heavyweight match, and, kind of certain ways where guys want to lock up. I feel like that could definitely just be like something that the upper weights do.
No, I've seen a lot of my teammates do that, But,
yeah, I don't necessarily watch matches like that, but my coaches will usually come in, before a duel or something and have kind of some notes on everybody that everybody's going to face, and he'll come up and talk to you for a minute and just be like, hey, be aware of this and this, and you're like, all right. And so it's a quick 30-second conversation, and I think that's good. Being aware of stuff's not a bad thing, but I think focusing on yourself and what you're doing is a big thing. So kind of let our coaches deal with that stuff more so than just watching film on other guys.
Yeah, because the main thing I've seen with that is like when I watch film, I'm like, okay, I know he's gonna go for this move, and I know how to defend it now. But then other guys would be like, oh, this guy has an amazing blast double. Maybe I can't stop it. And they start to put doubt in their own head, just like watching the guys film rather than using it to help you against them as the advantage.
Yeah, I think it's definitely different for everybody. But yeah, I think whatever works. I think it's definitely worth looking into film just as like not necessarily the guy you're wrestling, but just watching film just as being a student of the sport. And during the season, I think watching what you're doing, because sometimes you're just wrestling out there and you don't realize, oh, here I wasn't in the right position. Here my foot could have been here. I came out of my stance here, stuff like that, So I think seeing it again after the emotions of the match are kind of gone is always worth looking at.
Yeah. So let's get back to the CKOV. This is the match you've been waiting for. This is your chance to claim the number one spot in the country. Hayden Hidley placed 4th in the country last year. You placed 6th. 2 top returners at this point, since Young, I think, is already knocked out of the bracket.
He wasn't there, I don't think, for CKOV.
That was Coleman, my bad. So, you guys are in the finals together, right? This is the match everybody's been waiting for. There were talks of, I'm pretty sure everybody had Hidley winning. He's the higher ranked dude at that point. But then you come out there, I saw that you just look like you're like at least 10, 15 pounds more than them. just looking at that, it's crazy. You probably don't realize that, as you wrestling them, but.
No, I don't know. Yeah, it was just going out there and having fun. I think wrestling relaxed, getting in my positions, getting in my offense. So I think, I train hard and to believe in my positions and my abilities. And I think that I have, great support system, great teammates, great coaches. And I think when all that comes together, it's special, and you're able to, just compete without any pressure. And so I was just having a lot of fun out there, and it's always awesome to wrestle those good guys and, just make it a fight.
Yeah. Because, you claim the number one ranking after that match, and with guys, it can either go one of two ways. The first way is it boosts your confidence to a new level, and you're just like terrorizing the entire field at that point. And then there are other guys like, oh, I have a target on my back now. Guys are gonna be going for like big moves on me the entire time. What if I get caught? What if I do this wrong? What if I lose? And then just like everybody be like, oh, he's a bust. He's not really worth that number one ranking.
Yeah, I think again that's like spectator versus like competitor mindset. I'm focusing on me. I'm not focusing on all the hype, all the social media stuff, all the flow wrestling stuff. I'm focusing on what I can do. I'm looking at my positions, looking to improve. After we come back from CKLV, the next day we're watching film and looking at what I could have done better. So I think just continuing to wrestle and just embracing that target. I'm going to get the best shot out of everybody I wrestle from now on, and that's awesome. Because I want to be able to beat the best guys. Nobody's training to beat the worst guys, So getting everybody's best is fun. It helps me improve my game as it goes on and gives me great training the rest of the year. So I think just, staying in that and focusing on what I can and continuing to try to improve the whole year.
Yeah, that's a big thing too, So your season goes great up until Big Tens, You entering the postseason, you're the one seed, of course, at Big Ten's number one in the country. I don't remember who you had in that matchup. So I think it was just like they were basically procession bouts up until the finals. Really, nothing too crazy went on. Pretty much dominated your way to the finals, and then you have Kendall Coleman from Purdue in the finals. A match you might have not been expecting to happen again. Based on the way the match went the first time, 14-0. But Coleman, I think, is a true freshman, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
He's a super athletic dude. He was getting a lot better every single match, but he gives you a fight in the finals. It's not like he just gave up based on like what happened last time.
Yeah. I think everybody wrestling in college is usually a good wrestler. So just knowing that and wrestling the whole time. I think I definitely was looking forward to wrestling Caleb Young again. Hadn't got to wrestle him the whole year. And that's something I can't control. So I just kept wrestling my matches and had the Purdue guy in the finals. And, he's an awesome wrestler and it's fun to wrestle. So, and it doesn't really matter who's out there. You're just out there wrestling your style, keep going forward, attacking, making, doing what I'm good at and trying to get to my position. So I think just kind of every match approaching it the same way was what I was doing and was really looking forward to NCAAs. And unfortunately, all of that got canceled.
Yeah. So, the biggest strength like in your game, except for like your like just sheer size, you have your top ride, which is very good, The main guy I saw that against was like, what's his name? Jason Nolf, right? Your sophomore season. Again, nobody was really close to Nolf that year. He just elevated himself to a new level. The time come that third period, he picks bottom, and then you make him pay for that.
Yeah, I think top and bottom in college is definitely a big deal, and something we work on. I think I could get a lot better there. I could score more points from there. I could create more opportunities there. So continue to look to improve and involve new ways that I can do new things there. So that's always fun. And it's been nice to have this time now with everything going on to kind of take a step back and be able to kind of look at what I really want to focus on and what I can prioritize right now. And so I think still always, that's the cool thing about wrestling. It's you're never done. It's always, you're looking to improve new skills. You're never going to know everything perfectly.
Yeah. So you end up with your first ever Big Ten title as a junior, number one in the country, undefeated that season. Everything is going great. But then a couple days after you get the call, nationals are canceled. The first thing that's going through your head.
Yeah. I think it was like, dang, that stinks. We were right there. It was super close. Wrestled the whole year. Was really excited to go to nationals. I think our team was set up in a good position to do really well there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was it was tough. But then also realizing, just being sad about this isn't going to do anything. And so just kind of turning that into something good will happen out of this, and just continuing to focus on what I can control.
Yeah, so you don't get the ending you want of your junior season, but that's even more a reason to push yourself to your senior season. Get that undefeated record, claim all those titles, and finish your career off in style with that national title.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm looking forward to next year. I'm really excited. And yeah, just hopefully this whole pandemic gets contained and we don't have to shorten the season or do anything like that.
So you and Sebastian Rivera, both seniors, both I think ranked number one in the country right now. How are you guys you guys are technically the captains, leaders of the team right now. How are you
Yeah,
going about everything coming in next season?
yeah, I think Sebastian's an awesome guy. That dude's got he's great at wrestling. He's got some awesome stuff, and I think it's awesome. When we're both in a room together. We're not necessarily super close in weight where we can wrestle, but being able to have that teammate where you're watching and cheering each other on, and being able to help each other in those positions is awesome. So I think just having him in the room elevates my game, and I think it's been awesome to be with him the last 4 years, and excited for this last year.
Yeah. So both of you guys have a chance to win national title next year. You're talked about. You're up in that national title race right there. Not something that happens a lot at Northwestern. You guys you're not like those top two teams, but you're up there this year. You can make a huge run nationals. Hopefully qualify most, maybe even all of your guys.
Yeah. No, it's been awesome. Just watching the team grow the last few years. Every year we've come back better. And I think Storney's done an awesome job, as well as Howe and Jimmy and Emery. They've all done an awesome job in, creating a good culture at Northwestern and recruiting good guys, and giving us, just doing everything they can to help us improve our games. They've just done an awesome job with all that. And I think it's been really fun to be a part of and be able to watch, so many teammates have some great success this year. And every year it seems to get better. So excited to see what happens next year, and continue to watch Northwestern even when I'm done.
Yeah, that's great, Yeah, so I think that's pretty much all for the wrestling portion. I think we'll just pass on to Derek and go with Derek's dumbass questions.
Okay.
Thank you. Welcome everyone to Derek's Dumbass Questions, my favorite segment of the show. So we usually start it off because we're a heavyweight channel. We got to bring food into this podcast somehow.
Let's go.
So what's your go-to cheat meal? You could pick one thing to eat. Let's just say in a dream you gain no weight from eating it. What are you eating?
Oh, every time, favorite food, hands down, bacon cheeseburger with some French fries.
You and Taylor Vance have the same response. You both said in the words of Taylor Vance, a big-ass burger.
Yeah.
That's what he said, a big-ass burger.
That's perfect.
And for some reason, all the guys we've talked to from Wisconsin are obsessed with Oreos. So Wix was Oreos, and Hilger's was a gallon of Oreo ice cream with a spoon. So, okay. Let's just ask a fun one. We usually would say a favorite fast food, but we're going to skip that one for tonight. And we're going to say, what's your go-to post-weigh-in meal? What are you eating after you weigh in?
Post-weigh-in. I'm having a banana, peanut butter, and honey sandwich. Maybe a Cliff Bar, some fruit, stuff like that.
You know the way. Peanut butter and honey, go-to sandwich. Go-to. Phenomenal.
You got to get Skippy peanut butter that already has honey in it. It's really good.
Before Derek's last question, I know he doesn't normally ask, but what are some of your hobbies outside of wrestling?
Yeah. I enjoy being outdoors. I think I grew up skiing and snowboarding a lot, being from Colorado. Mm-hmm. Like doing that. Going hiking in the summer and stuff. Been hiking a lot since I've been home. going fishing, stuff like that. So
Hey.
yeah, being outdoors is always fun.
Yeah. All right.
All right, then we'll wrap it up with this question. You could bring 4 of your teammates in with you for the zombie apocalypse. Which 4 of your teammates are you bringing with you?
Ooh, that's tough. All right, I'm going to go Sebastian Rivera, Eric Yang, and Lucas Davison.
You get one more.
Oh, I get 4.
Yeah, you get 4. You get to bring 4 with you.
Ooh. Next one. And Jack Tolan.
All right, could we get a little rundown on why on everybody?
All right, so I think Tolan, I always see Snapchats of him with a bunch of guns. I think he's going to have the setup for us. He's a good old boy. He's going to be able to figure that out for us.
I've decided that one wrestling team just has a gun guy. Everybody has said the same thing. Everyone has one of their friends that's like, yeah, they got a bunch of guns.
Yeah, so he's that. Sebastian's just crazy. That dude's gonna. I just think if there's a zombie coming at us, I think he's gonna help us survive. Eric's super smart. I think Eric's gonna help us figure out a plan, get out of there. And then Luke's a big dude. So I think Luke will be able to pull his weight, and I think he's also smart, be able to figure some stuff out for us. So that's my 4.
All right. I mean, it was great having you on the show, Ryan. Thank you again. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, we'll look to catch up with you after NCAAs. Hopefully, have you on, and you could, we can make a nice thumbnail of you holding your NCAA championship. So
sounds good. I'll see you guys.
You have to get Conan in touch with me.
Yo, you want me? I'll text him right now.
Not on Instagram. He's on Instagram, but he just.
I'll hit him up. I'll do the business side of the business like I usually do.
He makes
Hayab, our heavyweight too. You can talk to him.
Yeah.
I'll give you both their contact info.
All right,
All right. Yeah, send it my way, and we'll send you a thumbnail and a link whenever we're ready. And just thank you again. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. We'll see ya.
See ya.
All right, so he left before we did the outro. Okay. If you got this far, thank you. Sorry that our guest Matt Stencil had to cancel. Make sure to reschedule that for you guys.
Yes, sir.
So this has been episode 21 of Late Night Shots with Ryan Deacon, and that's it for now.